Hey everyone, it's Celeste. It is a not so rainy, thankfully, anymore day here in May in Northern California. I thought I would just go through. I don't have enough time to do any of the landscaping work that I was hoping that I could do this weekend, but I thought what I would do is just do a little update on the yard and how it's progressing. And this is one of the areas that I don't show very often, but this is as I mentioned before, blushing beauties tend to work really, really well in my yard. So you can see that this is a huge stand. Again, these were just cuttings maybe 2 years ago. And there's a very, very sad euphorbia sitting in the middle by itself, as you can see right there. Euphorbias don't work in my yard, at least in the front. I struggle with them in the back as well, but I definitely struggle with them in the front. It's too warm, tends to be too cold, tends to be too wet. All of these things are not things that euphorbias like. So over here, I just kind of put in a bunch of these blushing beauties. You can see that I take cuttings quite a bit from this area. Since it's along the side of my house, I don't really worry too much about these, but they are absolutely beautiful. Let's see, so I'm going to try to keep the camera out of the sun. It's an odd angle this time of day. And some jades that are mixed in. That's a jade right there. So I will need to cut this back a little bit, but probably won't do that until the end of summer. So this is, and alongside of the house. Just last year I put in all of the rock, which I like a lot. I try to again get out of the picture for you. So some more of those blushing beauties. You can see a little, there's an opuntia right there. Looks like my dogs got out. This is really cool. I have a crest. So again, we don't really know why these grow like this. So you can see it's right there, it's got that little crest. So if we look under here, the underside, we're going to see it's growing in kind of a weird way right here. If I can get the camera in so you can see it better. Yeah, see how fat and thick that stem is? That means that it's about to, that it is crusting. So this is an absolute stunner. I'm super excited about that. Looks like I have 2 of them. So there's one right here, one right here. Oh, no, 3. Another one right here. So because these grow so fast, I could probably pop those off and plant them, and then each one will do well on its own, but I'm kind of interested to see what it does. Some more of the jades in this area, and you can see they're doing extremely well. So this side of my house tends to get a lot of those temperature extremes, so I put plants here that are super hardy. I have lost quite a few. My original idea was I was going to put upright euphorbias over here, but again, as I mentioned earlier, not something that works out too well in this side of the yard, just because of the temperature extremes. That hasn't worked for me. So if you have ideas for other plants that are a little more hardy that can handle it, let me know in the comments, because that has definitely not worked for me. This is just where I put my hose. And this is that monster euphorbia. If you've watched one of my other videos before, you would have seen where I redid this section. This is one of the areas that I left alone. So it's interesting to watch what this thing is doing. It's beautiful. Again, euphorbias, the thing about those is you have to be really careful when you're cutting them. I actually have special gloves that I wear that go clear up to my elbows. They're leather. You have to watch, making sure you don't get anything in your eyes, because it can, you'll actually have to go to the emergency room. So at some point I will cut this back, but it's interesting just to see what it does. Super pretty. So Dazzlerium longissimum, it's this one right here, and a calla lily that decided to pop up. I did not plant the calla lilies, by the way, so I don't know how those got there. Little red eyes in the corner. Super pretty. The Athona capensis, which is the trailing plant right there, is starting to recover from the cold. This one on this side will do as well. You can see more of the aeoniums that I replanted. So again, there's another video where I just redid this entire garden bed. So this will give you a little view into what that looks like now. Here's one of the giant dish planters that I put in. I just got these garden benches, which I thought were super cute. A little more low profile. The ones that I had here before blocked the view of the plant, so I think these look a lot better, and I'll show you something special that I did for one in particular. But here you can see more of those aeoniums that I put in. And again, all of this is just rooting. I just planted all of this. So, you know, these are just cuttings, but this gives you an idea of how fast these grow when you plant cuttings. So you'll see some of my videos. This is 2 years old, basically, and then I just ripped all of this out in the other video and replanted, and so it gives you an idea when you watch that video over the 2 days and how I pulled all of it out and then how I put it back in. And now you can see the update of how this is starting to root, really go crazy. And here is the thing that I was going to say. So my grandmother, who was the one that got me into gardening when I was very, very little, used to take me to nurseries all the time and would quiz me constantly on how to take care of plants and taught me pretty much everything I know about plants. I thought this would be really cute to get this little plaque. I called her Nama because when I was little I couldn't say Grandma, and I used to try to call her Mama all the time, and so the compromise was Nama. So that's why it has the name Nama on there, but I thought that would be super cute. Put in here. I finally got this aloe to stand up. Took a little bit, but it's starting to root. Let's see all the plants again. And they are starting to turn colors. Again, because of the sun's starting to come out, so it is getting warmer in this part of the yard. So you can see it's starting to stress some of these areas. And so a lot of these plants are starting to pop out more than they were before. And there's a Looney Tunes doggy. Don't know, I have 2 English Springer Spaniels, so you'll see them pop in and out of the videos. This one's a surprise for me. This is the aeonium I brought from the back. It's a very ink variety. It used to be kind of variegated looking, and now it's just gone beet red, I think because of the stress from I'm kind of curious if it's rooted. Yep, it's rooted. So it'll be interesting watching when it's done, because in the backyard, weirdly, it was a different color. It was, you know, just this like light green, light pink color, and then out here it turns beet red. So super interesting. Here's some more of the aeoniums. Again, all of these are just cuttings, but yep, they're rooted. Not so much. That one's working on it. So you can see they're just still in progress of rooting, but it gives you an idea of what it looks like. And I'll step back in a moment so that I can give you the fuller view of that whole area that I just redid. So you can see. So quite beautiful. I like those lowered benches just because you can see more of the plants now out from the street and more of the design, which is really cute. There's a couple pots that I put together. As it starts to get sunnier, I usually have to move these a little bit just so that it's not, I've got a dog wiggling, knocking my phone, sorry about that. So yeah, I have to put these pots around the corner a little bit because they tend to have a hard time during the really heavy sun. This guy, I think I need to add some fertilizer to. It's looking a little yellow, so that's not great. I will definitely make some changes there. So this will give you a little more of the view, the bigger view. There's a cocoa bean puppy. Happily looking for some bits of grass that they can chew on. That's their favorite thing to do. Unfortunately, my poor little cat here, Talavera, broke, and so I'm going to need to fix that. So I've rescued it. I used to be in the planter bed, but I need to fix that now. some Gorilla Glue. You can see I've done that once before, but when it sits out in the elements, it tends to not work very well. So again, more of the plants. Lots of blushing beauties. That's what these aeoniums are, the ones that you're seeing that are kind of that pinkish, purplish color. Use those a lot again out here because this part of the yard just extremely difficult with the temperature extremes. This is standard aloe with its giant yellow blooms. It's just super beautiful. It's a star jasmine, by the way. This vine that's about to go crazy, so it'll be covered in these white blooms, which is just really, really, really beautiful. More of those blushing beauties. So you can look back at some of my earlier videos and you can see how fast these are growing. Very, very, very fast. In one of the previous videos I talked about Nepuntia, just sitting under here. It's now hiding down under here, so I will need to trim all of this green aeonium back right here in order for it to get some more sun, but right now it's doing okay. You can't see the rock anymore. It's back out. It's part of the design, so again I'll have to come through here and pull a lot of this out, but I wanted you to see this because this is how fast these plants grow. They are crazy level fast, and I spend a lot of time just clipping, giving a lot of this to neighbors because the plants grow so quickly. So you can see again more, you can barely see the rock again. Just thinned all of this out, and now it needs to be thinned out yet again. I'm super excited that some of these jades though has started to get bigger, so those are really cool because I don't want to see the base of that star jasmine vine. Some more of the trailers down here. And isn't this just a stunner? Another aeonium variety. It just turned into a monster. The Athona capensis, which is starting to recover on the ground. One of my other videos I had showed you where with the weather, the cold and the wet, it had gotten kind of leggy, so you can see some of the end of that here where it's still starting to recover, but you can see it's doing that nicely. I just let this go in this area. It breaks up that rock line. Looks really cool, but very, very beautiful with that aeonium. More of the green aeonium. These are the tree-like kind. Eventually I may actually pull that out because I've seen people, they graft different kinds of aeoniums onto these, so they'll, you know, get maybe 6 feet tall, and then you can graft some of the other varieties on there, so you get this aeonium that has like all sorts of different kinds. So I think I might try that. We'll see. I don't know. See if I get excited and decide I'm going to do that. Another aeonium variety under here. Some more blushing beauty. You can tell they're blushing beauties because they've got that red tinge. So that's why they get that blushing beauty name, but these are some of the best. I tend to give these a lot to my friends because they root so easily, they can handle lots of temperature extremes. They're very extremely hardy, and the other thing about these is that they change. They will turn, 5 different colors throughout the seasons, and so they're just absolutely amazing. They also tend to handle the heat a little better. They don't cup and close up, at least in my area, as much as some of the others do. So I'll give you a little bit of the view, looking over towards the fountain. These aeoniums. I'm just more going around the corner towards the front door. Again, more talavera pots, which I'll need to cut back the star jasmine from. And more on this side. More aeonium varieties. So if you don't believe me that I love aeoniums, this video should prove it. My dog's gonna bark a little because she's gonna see people in the neighborhood, so hopefully you can't hear that too much. More of the Aeonium varieties with the Athonicapensis. Okay, sorry about that. The dogs were barking too much and it was going to keep going, and there was another dog coming, so I needed to put them in the house. This is another Aeonium, so you actually saw that a little less mature stand over that a few minutes ago. Some of these, looks like I got a little nice weed plant popping up there, so I'll have to do something about that soon. More. A very unhappy aloe. I don't know what it is with these. I'm trying to stay out of the sun here. Again, weird angle. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, again, I don't know what's going on with these aloes. For some reason, I have a hard time with these guys, so they're doing this. It's not rot, though. That's the weird thing. It's just this kind of like black, goofy stuff, so I don't know. This was just a bunch of cuttings, so it's pretty small in this area. Had to dial it back. Again, sorry about the shadow in the way of the design. Definitely need to come out here, fix some of the rock work. And then move again. Alright, so this is Bougainvillea, which is going crazy against the arbor that my dad and I put in a while back. Transfer over to this garden bed. This garden bed needs to be completely redone. It's weirdly, it's flattened out. The other one did not. You can see it over there. But this garden bed flattened out. So when I do some of the rework in the back, I'll probably add some more soil onto this guy. And maybe pop that tree up higher, or maybe make part of it higher. I don't know. Add some more rock. We'll see. It's also getting grass inside of it, so I need to fix that as well. I'd come through here a while back and pulled this back, limbed up this jade, which is extremely old. You can see how thick that trunk is. I just got that off Facebook Marketplace, by the way. Blushing Beauty Aeoniums right here in the back. This jade, I just got off Facebook Marketplace. Again, lots of people like to get rid of these. There's another one of those aloes that hates this front yard for some reason. I thought if I popped it underneath the jade, it would do better. Nope. So I don't know what it is, but I'll have to try to figure that out. Here is a death bloom, one of the Aeoniums. Very pretty. And I remember with Aeoniums, they're monocarpic. So what that means is that one particular strand, one particular stalk, lasts for 2 years. You can see some of the babies that are starting to come from underneath. So I'm just kind of letting this ride because I wanted to see what the flower looked like, what it ended up doing. I have plenty of Aeoniums. I can always pop something back in later, but just was curious what that would end up looking like. And some more. This is a really hot corner, so this jade has not grown very much. I'm kind of hoping in this upcoming spring, to summer season, that this is going to get a little more height on it. Move over into the garden bed. This is called Ruby Slippers. It's a little fuzzy. And it's hit or miss in the yard. You can see more of it right there. Sometimes it does really well. Sometimes not so much. I've been trying to stick it in spots where it's protected, but I like it because it's fuzzy, and then it's got these little red tinges on the edges, which is super cute. So I like that quite a bit. Another aloe. More blushing beauties, which are turning into a tree over here. I'll give you a better view in a second. You can see they're starting to crowd out some of the echeverias that are underneath there, so I will need to cut this entire thing back, but it gives you an idea what these blushing beauties do. Very, very prolific. Some more. Definitely needs to get cleaned up. It's not as cute as it used to be, but I will eventually take these guys out. I'm forgetting the name right now, but they pup like crazy. And I like them. I like them for the texture, but I don't like that they pup all the time. So I might maybe just take it out and put it in a pot instead so that I can still have that variegated look, but not end up with a big giant mess. The other is that they have really, really bad spikes on them. So I spend a lot of time coming out here cutting these little suckers off so that people don't kill themselves on that. So definitely I need less of those, I think, in my life. Future. One of the things that was really cool, Polyplicatillus, and it split on me. So you can see there's that little trunk underneath there. So that was really cool. And some of my Echeverias. So it's always a gamble this time of year because, you know, these jades, these blushing beauty aeoniums, they can handle this heat much better than, you know, these little Echeverias can. But I also kind of tend to shade them quite a bit, and so it's always a gamble. Do I just go ahead and cut those back, or do I leave them as is until the end? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I thin it out a little bit and give more dappled light. I'll try that this year. Pineapple mangave, just starting to take off finally. This whole section is going to get redone. And there's a very unhappy Rubra-trigona. Again, euphorbias do not do well in this area, so I'm going to be taking out this entire section right here because I don't like it. I never sit in this bench. I literally can't, because look at that plant popping up through there. Originally I had two of the Rubra-trigona on either end, but they do not handle this weather out here at all. So those will need to be rescued, put back in the back where they're a little more protected, and then I'm just going to bring in soil and make the mounds and get rid of the bench. Here's the other side of the planter. Again, more of those aeoniums that are going crazy. So those are, you know, I found the different kind of plants that like it out here. So those ones that I tend to keep. These cement planters are the ones that I got, again, off Facebook. So definitely check Facebook Marketplace. That's where you can get a lot of the plants. This is the other mound in the backyard. This aloe is getting ready to bloom. Continuing to bloom. You see some of the Echeverias again. I'm just hiding them. And they get protection from this very, very old jade. Another Facebook Marketplace find. I'm not going to go this whole direction, but here you can see there's a bunch of the Fred Ives. Those are the purple ones right here. All of this needs to get cleaned up. Some Fred Ives. Some more of my pokey friends need to go into pots. Monstrous stand of blushing beauty. Again, all cuttings 2 years ago, guys. Everyone, try number 3. My battery died. My phone. The microphone tends to kill it, so I'm going to try to talk as quickly as possible because I only have about 20% battery, and then my phone's going to need to charge for quite a while. So here is a mangave that I just put in. It's called Mission to Mars. This one's going to get about 4 feet. It was one of the bigger ones that I had in the backyard that was starting to overgrow the area, so I went ahead and put it out here in the front. Some of my barrel cactus. Try not to move around too much so I don't get you too sick. These are presents that were given to me by my parents, which is this aloe right here, which is turning into a bush. I just cut some off for one of my neighbors. And You can see. Pretty crazy. It's a very, very beautiful aeonium. I think this is just the neatest. Look at how the bottom part is yellow, but the top part is green. Underlying pieces are pink. Just absolutely stunning stand. Starting to get too big, so eventually here I'm going to have to pop that out. Some more sunburst aeoniums is what these are called. Aloe, which just got done blooming. More of the sunburst aeoniums. This whole section will need to get pulled out. This is one of the areas that I haven't done much with. I have come out and taken a lot of cuttings over, maybe, I think we're coming up on 3 years now, but I haven't thinned much. So this is a candidate, and again, it's just the when conversation again, because this, the more they're in the ground like this, the more they can handle the weather extremes, and this area out here tends to get pretty hot. More of those euphorbias. These are pretty. You can't tell because they're yellow and green, but the plant is actually, it gets bright red. So you can see the stems are red, and the plant itself is red. Another euphorbia. Again, be very careful when you see these kind of plants. They're super beautiful, but they have that white sap, so you want to be careful with that. More of the sunburst aeoniums. When I put these in, they were tiny little plugs, maybe 1 inch apart. 1 inch across, and about 1 inch apart. There's aloe that's blooming. Very beautiful. Definitely needs to be thinned out. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with a very giant aloe stand. So I will dig some of this out and give it to my neighbor. That's that red euphorbia that I was just talking about. So you can see those same blooms, but here you can actually see more of the red and green of the leaves. So very, very pretty, but again, dangerous. These ones that have kind of these not very cute blooms on them, those were fillers that I put in at the time just to kind of, have some additional plant material. I'll probably yank all those out. They're not cute, and they're starting to just get a little crazy, so and pull them out. Here's more sunburst aeonium. Another euphorbia. It's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. So these euphorbias are okay in my yard, weirdly enough. The other ones don't do well. These do okay. More sunburst aeoniums. Love how they have all the different colors. Some cotyledons, they just bloomed. Looks like they're going to do it again. This section over here tends to bloom more than the others. Another present from my parents. And it's giving me babies, which I will need to dig up. You can see there's a number of them coming through, so I will pull those out, give those away to neighbors. A bit over here, gigantic weed. It needs to get pulled out. That's not going to be fun. Trick with barrel cactus, when they do this, you just want to actually pull the whole plant out of the ground, pull the weeds out, and then pop it back in. It's easier to do. These guys are starting to pup, so again, I'm going to pull those pups out. May end up having to pull this plant out. It's just going to get huge. It's throwing off too many babies now, so probably replace it with something else. You can see lots of pups coming, so that guy's gonna need to come out pretty quickly here. Blue elf. finishing some of their blooming for the season. Here's some of the babies on the other side that I popped in, starting to get big. I used to have a mangave here. My aunt and uncle just came to visit, which I was talking about on another video. So I gave that to them. So that's why there's a little dirt spot right there. So I'm going to pull some of the babies that I have in the backyard and pop those in. This is a jade that I planted. I literally put this in, I don't know, maybe 7 months ago, so it hasn't filled in yet. But the idea is kind of filling around the trunk of this tree because it's not very cute. And then, of course, you know, I'll put another one of these mangaves, kaleidoscope mangave, so you're going to see here in a second. Funny enough, in my backyard, where it's not as hostile of a climate, these are not bright pink like this. They're actually kind of a green, yellow, and then they've got pink edges. Out here, it just turns bright pink. So really cool having it out here, but it also means that it's extremely stressed. And stressed means that, you know, it's a lot of sunlight, not a lot of water. So that's what they tend to do, but really beautiful. I mean, that's just a stunner. Plants, so you can see I don't water out here very much, and so these plants, I put some hardier stuff. This is a different type of design, so you can see there's much more space in between the plants. It's just personal preference, what you like. We'll see how long this lasts, because I tend to like more plants altogether. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see if I keep it that way. Another jade that I got off of Facebook. Again, same thing. I just wanted to fill in this Mission to Mars mangave up there that's purple. That will get very, very big. Fill that in. These were tiny little cuttings. Getting very beautiful. I'm getting the warning from my phone. Again, I'm about to run out of power. Okay. So that'll give you an idea of what the front looks like, how it's changed, the way that the front of the house looks. And we'll go walk through, show you the last little bit of the garden before I end the video, or my phone runs out of power. One of the two happens. Trees that I put in. These will get 30 feet tall by 30 feet wide. Desert Museum trees, so they don't have thorns. Be really careful when you purchase Desert Museum trees. I get a lot of questions about where did I get these trees. I got them on Etsy. These will be covered in yellow flowers soon. And they grow very, very quickly. Make sure you get the kind that doesn't have thorns. The thorns are brutal. So again, more of that filler plant. You can see some of the grass. This is a big mess in here. Some of those baby mangaves, the kaleidoscopes are in there. So I'm hoping that those take over more. But again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add more soil, more rock, build this up higher. It's not cute. So definitely going to modify that. This guy's always a stunner. Look at those little tips. Super cool. I can never tell the difference. I think this is the Gollum jade versus the ogre ears. So I think it's the Gollum, but I can never tell the difference between the two. But it's one of those two. And that was tiny. And so now it's actually getting quite big. Very, very cool. I did not realize that those take as long as they do to get better and bigger. Hesperalo down here, which is not the happiest camper, but it's inside that Athona capensis, which is that trailing plant right there. And It seems to like it a little better. It was not handling some of the weather, but once that Athona capensis came over the top of it, it seemed like it did a little better and is starting to recover a bit. Again, all cuttings in here, along with that Blushing Beauty Aeonium stand from this side. Another Desert Museum tree. This guy not growing as fast as the one that's out at the street. Again, I like the color, but starting to produce babies as well, so I'll have to make decisions about that soon. Another one of my pokey friends. So, you know, a lot of these plants that you put in early on, maybe don't end up being the plants you want later on. Like these filler plants. So I definitely will be removing some of these. It's hiding the fountain. Absolutely beautiful. More of the Fred Ives. More of the Jades. Okay, so that's the yard in May. As you can see, it has gone crazy. So I will be doing a lot of thinning and giving out these plants to my neighbors. That's a tour of my garden in May. I'm in Zone 9B. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Have a great weekend. Thanks.